So welcome back to another Thursday on the Pagan Perspective. I'm your Thursday host, Yeka, and this week we are talking about the law of concealment. So our topic is, as practitioners, is there such a thing as law of concealment? Or, when performing said magic, do you leave it to chance, and if someone sees you, so be it? If your spell was meant to be, it was meant to be. Or is law of concealment meant only for baneful slash black magic practice? So I hadn't heard that expression used in this context before. However, I have heard the sentiment of keeping one's spell work or one's practice, one's beliefs, those sort of things, private before. And it's not an uncommon sentiment and it's not uncommon advice. It's not a big, that again, since I'd never heard that expression, it's not a something that I subscribe to, but I think that it's really kind of a great launching point to talk about motivation for some of our spells and the practices. And so that's what I wanted to kind of touch on with this. And of course, I am not here to judge anybody's motivations. Like, your motivations are yours, and great, go for them, whatever they are. But what comes to mind for me with this is thinking about, so if I want to do some sort of spell or some sort of celebration or tradition or something like that, to be kind of mindful about what is my purpose. Why am I doing it? And is it something that I want to do so that somebody sees it? Or is it something that I'm doing for me? Only for me? Like, who's it for? And I think it's really easy to slip into unconsciously doing something to prove a point. Right? I think it's really easy to, when something is out in the open, right? If you are doing, if you're wearing a symbol, or you're doing a ritual in a park, or you have your altar up and you have a family member coming, you live in someone else's house, or you have a family member coming who's not the same religion as you or something, that sometimes it's really easy to do that to try and prove to them that whatever it is you're trying to prove, like how cool you are, or how you don't need their religion anymore, or whatever it is. It's very easy to slip into that. And again, I'm, not here to judge whether you should or shouldn't be doing that, or I should or shouldn't, or anything like that. But I think it's something that there's a lot of power in recognizing what your motivations are, because then you're able to look at that and say, is that something I want, right? Is that serving my goal that I have? And, being able to look at it and see it allows you to choose whether to continue to feed that or to feed something else. So keeping one's practice a little bit more private can help avoid doing it for somebody else instead of doing it for you. At the same time as that, though, there's a lot of opportunities and circumstances where sharing can also be really powerful. I know for me sometimes if I'm working on manifesting something in my life, or me working on a specific goal, on improving something about myself or changing something about myself, telling somebody about that goal can create accountability. And for me, that's really helpful, depending on who it is, right? So having them witness that can be really powerful. And also, group rituals, doing something with somebody, there can be this power in, the old expression about the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There's something often just very wonderful about group work. And so that would be a circumstance in which maybe you wouldn't want to be private or concealed. So I think really, in terms of, is there a law of concealment? Maybe for some people, I think that it really depends on what your goals are, but it is a useful concept to think about in terms of helping you to look at your own motivations and see if those are serving you. So let's see. We will be back next week. Until then, I'd love to hear your take on the topic in the comments, and have a wonderful week. Take care.